Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and of course, continuing on reviewing Halloweenish films on the weekends. And that's right, you read the title of what I'm reviewing. It has to do something with Winnie the Pooh. Now, Winnie the Pooh is no stranger to the holidays, from Easter, Christmas, and of course, Halloween. And that's right, I am reviewing, from 1996, Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You. Although, yeah, even like I'm on the IMDb page, like it's the words are switched around. It's like Boo to You, Winnie the Pooh, but I'm sticking with Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You, as it's in the TV special itself. You know, it's one of those things. Just like stick with which goes here, which goes first and last, the words, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You, which came out in 1996, and fun fact, this came out the same year when the actual Christopher Robin, the son of the author of the Winnie the Pooh books, A.A. Milne, when he passed away. Yeah, actually, I didn't know about that until, I looked that up, on the IMDb page. It's trivia. So yeah, my introduction, when I first discovered Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You, well, I think for some of us, we first watched this and discovered it thanks to Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie, because, yeah, if you've seen Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie, which, I reviewed, if you want to go check that out, Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You was featured in Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie. There's at one point when Roo gives Lumpy, the Heffalump, a story of, when Piglet used to be terrified as much as Lumpy is, because Piglet was as terrified as Lumpy was, because in Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie, this is Lumpy's first Halloween, and yeah, it doesn't go so well at first, but, Roo telling Lumpy a story about when Piglet used to be terrified of Halloween, but no longer is, and of course, later on, Lumpy is no longer terrified of Halloween. So yeah, so with Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You itself, I never knew this because, the narrator for, Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You is, John Rhys Davies. Yeah, a.k.a. Sala from the Indiana Jones franchise. Nice to see him, be a narrator for something Winnie the Pooh. There's been John Hurt, David Ogden Stiers, John Cleese, the list goes on. And, of course, Sebastian Cabot. Can't forget about him. They've always had, with Disney's Winnie the Pooh, they've always had some pretty good narrators, for sure. All right, but let me go ahead and read the description / the story. On Halloween night, Pooh and the gang are ready for Halloween, but Piglet is too scared to join in. Yeah, so with reading the story / the description out of the way, so yeah, and basically, and when this was a part of Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie, pretty much it was all the same. There were a few changes to Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You when it was a part of Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and when I get to those. But yeah, so with John Rhys Davies' narration talking about, when it's October, and, there's one day that's different, and of course he's talking about Halloween, and we see our main characters and who appear in Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You. Winnie the Pooh, of course, being voiced by Jim Cummings, and Tigger being voiced by Jim Cummings. And by the way, because I didn't know this until I also read this, that Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You is the first Winnie the Pooh TV special where Jim Cummings voices Tigger full-time. Because, in the 90s, Paul Winchell was also / still voicing Tigger, but there were at times where Jim Cummings stepped in to voice Tigger. So, yeah. And until, in the early 2000s, Jim Cummings officially took on the voice role of Tigger. So, yeah. So again, Jim Cummings, he voices Pooh and Tigger. We also have Eeyore being voiced by Peter Cullen, aka the voice of Optimus Prime. And it's funny because when you realize that the voice of Optimus Prime is also the voice of Eeyore, so... Also, Gopher makes an appearance in this, and throughout this, we see him just in different Halloween costumes, and he's pretty much like, most of the time, like, dressing up as the Pooh gang. Like, he's first dressed up as Eeyore, then Rabbit, then Pooh Bear, and then Piglet. He didn't even dress up as Tigger. Oh well. And Michael Goth, and no, not Michael Goth, aka Alfred from the Batman films. No, not that Michael Goth. The other Michael Goth, who's a voice actor. Yeah, he's the voice of Gopher. And yeah, it's funny because, like, when the Pooh gang see Gopher dress up as each of them, how, like, Eeyore says, like, when he sees Gopher dressing as himself, like, you make a good yak, or Rabbit, when he sees Rabbit dressed up as, when he sees Gopher dressed up as himself, like, why are you dressed up like a muskrat? And they just don't get it. Like, come on, like, Gopher is clearly dressing up as you guys. So yeah. And, like, the costumes that Pooh and the gang wear, at first, like, Pooh's dressed up as a bee, obviously. Tigger is dressed up, like, as a skeleton. And, Tigger, he really loves Halloween. And as he says it best, Halloween is what Tiggers love best. Eeyore, he's dressed up as a mummy. Piglet, that's the thing, because, yeah, Piglet, because it's here where, he's not too fond of Halloween, and he's just terrified, and, he has his song number. And, yeah, there are 2 song numbers in Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You. With Piglet, it's I'm Not Afraid, a very nice song of, him trying to not be afraid and so on, trying to be very brave. Even at one point built, like, some kind of, they never establish it, like, some kind of, like, giant costume for him to wear, like, so he can feel brave, I assume. And there is a moment where he uses it until I get to that. So, Pooh, Eeyore, and Tigger, they go to Piglet's house and, they group up with him, they have him tag along, they bring him along to, trick-or-treating, basically. And there's a moment where Pooh, he can't help himself because how much he loves his honey. He pretends to, of course, act like a bee, to fool, like, the actual bees. Like, they think he's a bee as well, and he's trying to go for honey. But at one point, his costume rips from a branch, and of course the bees realize he's not a bee, and they start chasing him as well as the other 100-acre wood pals. And, of course, we come to Rabbit, being voiced by the late Ken Sansom. Yeah, Sansom. And basically, yeah. With Rabbit, yeah, basically Halloween is not one of his favorite holidays, and he's too busy, like, taking care of his pumpkins until Pooh and the gang, because they're being chased by the bees, they run through Rabbit's pumpkin patch and destroy the pumpkins. And one moment where Tigger, he starts drawing on the pumpkins, and it, at one point, terrifies Piglet. And again, like, as I mentioned, Gopher coming in, dressed up at one point as Rabbit and Pooh, yeah. And, when Tigger, Eeyore, Piglet, and Pooh, they leave Rabbit's house, like, then, a storm comes in, and then Tigger, like, goes on saying, ooh, what a stormy night. We'll come across couples. And, this terrifies Piglet. And there's one moment where, like, Pooh, he asks Tigger if they might not run into any heffalumps. Now, in Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie, that was changed, that line where, Pooh asks Tigger if they might run into heffalumps, it was replaced with spookables because, well, with Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie, Lumpy being a part of the 100-acre wood gang. So, like, if you know what I'm talking about, and yeah, it's understandable, and, Jim Cummings had to record new dialogue for Pooh and Tigger on what they had to say, and even, like, still, like, Tigger still, at one, like, still saying, like, a line that was kept, and where he does his teeth, like, and sawtooth jagulars, yeah. And so, yeah, this really terrifies Piglet. You know, Tigger is terrifying Piglet. He runs away. The trees at one point come to life, literally. And this was funny because Tigger, you know, he at one point said, "Was there something I said?" Yeah, clearly, Tigger, you terrified Piglet. You know, he ran off. And then, you know, we see Piglet all alone out in, you know, the woods at night. And, you know, like the trees with faces and bats coming out. And then, you know, he goes back in his house. He basically like boards his house with, you know, wood. And Pooh, Eeyore, and Tigger, they come to his house and, you know, they try to consult Piglet. And because, you know, for a couple of years, Piglet had skipped, you know, going trick-or-treating with them. And, like, Tigger is upset about this for sure, but Pooh, he handles this very well, and he tells Piglet that they won't go trick-or-treating this year. And, you know, even Piglet tries to tell Pooh that, you know, they don't have to do this because of him, but Pooh assures Piglet. And knowing Winnie the Pooh himself, you know, how innocent and sweet and understanding and kind he is, you know, that's what makes Pooh just so lovable, you know, especially for Disney's Winnie the Pooh, of course. So, you know, we see, you know, Pooh back in his house and Tigger back in his house, you know, his tree house, and we get another song number from Tigger, and yeah, I liked this song number. Any song number from Tigger is really fun. And this one, I think, yeah, it's titled, "I Want to Scare Myself." Yeah, and, you know, "Cover your eyes, little body, beware." You know, "Oh, I want to scare myself and everyone else. A thrilling and chilling and really so rise." You know, "Oh, by the way, boo." Yeah, the way that the song number ends, yeah. And like, you know, Tigger, like, still disappointed in Piglet, and he wishes that Piglet would be like himself, like, not be terrified and enjoy the scariness of Halloween. But there are times where Tigger is terrified, like when Pooh and Eeyore at one point come in, knock on his door, and when Tigger sees that they're dressed as ghosts with sheets, he thinks that they're spookables. So, yeah, okay, if you like scariness, Tigger, why are you scared at times? Oh, well. But yeah, so out of nowhere, Pooh and Eeyore, because they come to Tigger, and Pooh says that, you know, they're going to trick-or-treat again and try to convince Piglet this time to join in. And even when they go to Piglet's house, Piglet looks through the keyhole of his door, and he thinks it's spookables, but it's really Pooh, Eeyore, and Tigger. And he runs off, and yeah, and unfortunately, when they make their way to Piglet's house, well, he's not there, and thus they go looking for him. And we cut back to Rabbit, still working in his pumpkin patch. He dozes off, and I think, yeah, Piglet, he made his way to Rabbit's house, and at one point, Rabbit, like, you know, with his foot, like, pushed a wheelbarrow, and, like, the tip of it hit Piglet by the back, and basically that freaks out Piglet. And Pooh, Tigger, and Eeyore start to feel scared out in the woods at night, and even at one point, Gopher coming out, and this time he's dressed up as Piglet. And with Pooh, at one point, Pooh recommended to Tigger and Eeyore that they should dress up to blend in and to make, like, the spookables, even though there are no spookables out there, to think that, you know, they're one of them, you know. And so they all start to freak out, and so does Gopher when he sees them. It's funny. And Piglet then at one point shows up. And yeah, even at one point, Pooh mistakens Gopher for Piglet. Yeah, and Pooh gets caught in a couple of branches because of the sheet he's wearing. Piglet at one point hears Pooh calling for help, you know, "Could someone please help me?" And Piglet thinks that Pooh is being attacked by spookables, but it's really Tigger and Eeyore still wearing sheets trying to help Pooh get out of the branches. And Piglet, this was the moment for Piglet to be brave and to help/save his best friend Pooh by using that giant costume like he made, and, you know, he says, "I must save my friend Pooh," and he kind of struggles with it, trying to, you know, balance it. Well, and for him being a little Piglet, of course, and how big it is, yeah. Tigger sees Piglet come in, but he thinks it's a spookable. He bounces and hides in, on top of a pile of leaves on top of a branch. And then Piglet, he tumbles, and, Pooh and Eeyore, they get caught in Piglet's giant costume, and they start rolling, and even Gopher running away from them. And then they make their way to Rabbit's house, and once again, destroying the pumpkins in his pumpkin patch. And, then, the madness comes to an end, and Piglet's costume, contraption, whatever it's called, it tips over, the moon comes out of the clouds, and yep, everything's all right for Pooh and the gang. And there's one moment where Gopher once again steps in with a new costume. And this time, it's that Pooh and the gang think that Gopher's costume is a pretty good one. He's wearing a costume with a pumpkin head. Yeah, so yeah, good for Gopher. And finally, Piglet is no longer terrified of Halloween and joining Pooh and the rest of the 100-Acre Wood Pals, going trick-or-treating. And Piglet, very sweet of him to say that, what he's going to dress up as for Halloween is, dressing up as, the very bravest best friend to Pooh. Yeah, however he put it. And yeah, very sweet of what Piglet says. And, we get one more narration from John Rhys Davies, and as we see Pooh and the gang going off trick-or-treating, and Rabbit joining in, and we see Piglet's costume is a sunflower. Yeah, I can tell even from the back, so, Yeah, Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You is a very cute and sweet Halloween special, for sure. It's Winnie the Pooh. Who doesn't love Winnie the Pooh and anything that Winnie the Pooh does on the holidays, without a doubt. And I give Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You, yeah, why not? It's on my mind. 8 out of 10 stars. 8 out of 10 stars for Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You. And what about you guys? What do you think of Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You? And what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Winnie the Pooh, Boo to You. More review videos coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And of course, continuing on the weekends, reviewing Halloweenish films. Stay tuned for more. Take care, peace out, and TTFN, ta-ta for now!